Hey, this is Jen Gray, your host of Be Genuine with Jen podcast, where we discover how our authenticity is our superpower. I am so excited you've joined me for today's episode. Let's get started. Hey, friends, it is Jen Gray. It is so good to see you. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Okay, so I am very, very excited. Tonight is a big night for all of us. This is night one of book club with Jen. I want to kind of give you a history about why. And I mean, it's Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern. I know there's 100 other things that you could be doing. There's 100 other things I could be doing. Why a book club? Why mindset? Why another thing for your calendar? This is the book that we're starting with, and I want to give you a little history of my life. That this is the very first personal development book I ever put my hands on, thanks to an amazing friend, and it completely changed my thought. It was really cool. I got to hang out with a guy yesterday who is like a trained mindset coach, like all the certifications, all the things, and it was amazing to get to pick his brain and really hear why mindset is such a big deal. I have my own personal life and home personal testimony of why it is, and I have things that only were able to be overcome because I was in a space to where I knew that life happened for me and not to me. And so many times, bad things are going to happen, right? Hard seasons of our life are going to happen. And finding tools in order to utilize them as a part of your success, instead of looking at it as things that will hold you back, I learned that that is a learned thing. So here's kind of the twofold. The twofold part is we all can learn it. The other part is you can change. Growth can happen. You can shift your mindset. You can level up. You can elevate your mindset. And the people that you're around, the books that you're reading, the way that you spend your time ultimately can change that. And so when I saw that for my own life, I'm like, I want to create a space for that. And that's where Be Genuine with Jen podcast, if you are listening to that, then that's why that was created, was to build a community around our authenticity and around the idea that when you shift your mind, you can shift your life. And so I've created another space where we can even become more personal. We can create a community. And I'm doing that through a Facebook group. So if we're not friends on Facebook, it's just Jen Gray on Facebook. Or if you can't find me, shoot me a DM. I'll find you and we'll link up so I can send you the link. But what the Facebook group is, we're going to go live on Zoom every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. If you're not available at that time, no worries. I know life is busy. I have 4 kids myself. I'm going to make all of those Zooms available in the Facebook group. They won't be available anywhere else. So if you want to be a part of the community, join up with that. And then also there's guides, like questions for you to think through as you read the book. I have a breakdown of exactly, what we're going to read and when we're going to read it. And so this is simply just what we're starting with. And here's why this book completely shifted my mind. I want to just read a part of it to you. Because here's the thing. Everybody wants the best life can deliver. We all want the best life can deliver. We all want the best version of life. We all want to live life to the fullest. I don't think anybody just sits out to be like, nah, pretty sure I'm just going to like cruise through life. And maybe that is you. I don't think if you're listening to this, it's probably you. I think for the most part, we all have this innate desire to live life and live life to the fullest. And I believe that it's based on God. I believe God gives us that. And you may have another reason of what that looks like for you. But what I do know is I knew God created us for a purpose. And when you attach to that, when you connect to that, then it becomes less of a job and more of a calling. It is something that you are literally created to do. And then when life happens, you may have all these circumstances, whether you caused them or it was just life. And it was just a crazy pit. I don't even want to say like valley. Like if you've been through a hard season, it doesn't feel like a valley. It feels like a black hole, like black triangle, like all the things, I don't know, all the diamonds and shapes and triangles and all of that, right? It just feels hopeless. And then when you realize that in those seasons of your life, when you lean in to not being the victim of the season, but knowing that in the breaking down and shredding of so many things, maybe it was a relationship or it was a dream or it was a job or it was a career, maybe it was a desire to be a parent or it was a desire to have this dream job or it was a desire to start this, fill in the blank. And then something happened in life and it felt like it was stripped from you. And then you literally are in smithereens like I was in March 2023. And I know I had a decision to make. I could take 1 foot forward each day. Maybe it was an inch forward. Or I could lay in the smithereens. And I've been burned to ashes before. And so it was not a new situation as far as that goes, but it was a new situation as far as a different type of devastation. Right. And I what I learned, though, is I could control what I could control, and that my mindset was genuinely going to make me or break me. And I was so thankful for books like this in my life that literally reminded me that my thinking can give me belief to get out of this. And if I keep showing up, here's the thing. I love this. It's a verse from the Bible that says, focus on what is true. And I share this with so many friends of mine when they're going through their own devastating seasons. Like, focus on what is true. You're like, but Jen, I don't even know what that means. In a season where maybe it's voices that have been spoken over you, and it's voices of doubt, and it's of destruction, and you're trying to pick up the pieces, and you're like, Jen, I don't even know who I am. I get that. I've been there. And when you have to go through and you're like, what is true? I believed that I have a purpose in my life, and that may be the only thing that you can hold on to. Or maybe it's, Jen, I don't even know if I believe that. Okay, then let's rewind it. I have breath in my lungs. I still have life to live. That may be the only truth that you can stand on right now. Or maybe you've been in a season of life where you're like, yep, Jen, that's about it. I knew I had breath in my lungs, and I knew I still was breathing. That was about the only truth I could stand on. And then the next thing, I was like, you know what? I know that I have my 4 kids here. Okay, so that was my next truth. Perfect. I know that I have 4 kids to pour into. That was my next truth. My next truth was, I know how to build a business. I know that. I've done it before. I know that I'm capable of doing that. Did I feel like it? Did I even really know the direction immediately? No, I didn't. And you don't need to expect yourself to create something from the start when you're in the middle of a devastating season. But what I knew is that I could do things. What I knew is that I was strong enough to overcome all the other strong days in my life. You are strong enough to overcome every future hard day that you have, because you've proven that you can do it before. Okay. And so that's when you're thinking on what is true. But listen, what is the streamline for all of this, y'all? It's our thoughts. To think on what is true. And it wasn't this like wishful thinking of like, oh, it's all going to be okay. No, nobody wants to hear it's all going to be okay when you're going through hard things. It doesn't help, right? It's not like tangible, and it's not helpful, right? But what I knew was, what I learned in this book, there are 2 different paths: belief or wishful thinking. When there's belief, it's, I don't know exactly how I'm going to get there, but I know if I believe it can be done, the rest of it's going to work itself out. And if I keep showing up and how I know I can show up, then everything else is going to work itself out. Or wishful thinking is just like, oh, it's going to be fine. And you don't put any action into it. And that's what I want to talk about. And that's what this book club has been created for. So no matter if you're listening to this on 2/21/24, the launch day for Book Club with Jen, or if you catch us on a podcast way later, this book club exists. If you have ever thought, I would love to have a space where I could read books together, or just even be a part of a community that wants to grow, be a part of a community that desires to live life to the fullest, that desires to discover how our minds can be used for us instead of against us. I also have learned the power of subconscious thought. And we're going to talk through those things. We're going to talk about how you may not even think of the negativity that comes into your mind day in and day out until you pause and you give reflection to it and give attention to it. And I'm going to teach you, and we're going to walk through how we can shift our subconscious thinking so that we can stop being our worst enemies. Our worst enemy is fear and defeat and our commitment to failure. You're like, commitment to failure? You're not committed to failure. How many times you set a goal for yourself and you know, even when you set the goal, I'm not going to reach that. Sounds good. Sounds really good. But you already even know in your mind, I'm not going to reach that. I'll just restart a new goal. This happens right every January 1st. We have certain goals we probably set for the past 5 years, and we're still setting them because we've never reached them. If you've been on a fitness journey, you know what it's like that you just decide you're going to show up every single day. Here's where mindset is different. Mindset, why do I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and why do I work out every single morning? Because I decided that I was going to be a person who shows up and I work out every single day, because I know what it does to my mental health, and I know what it does to my physical health. I know the energy that it gives me. right? And so I was talking to this mindset coach yesterday, and it was a very, very good point. And he said, exactly, here's why mindset is everything. Because it doesn't matter if I want to or not. Like that doesn't, he's like, Jen, that doesn't go into your decision, right? If you want to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, because that's when it's a mindset thing. No, I just do get up. But when you start making it about what you love and what you don't love and what you want to do and what you don't want to do, guess what? You will never live a life to the fullest. Because if I did every day what I felt like doing, I would never get anywhere. Anybody else agree? Right? Like if you just sat around, maybe you have this like binge TV show you want to binge watch, right? And you're like, oh my gosh, I just want to sit around. Do we need time to like deflate? Like not deflate. I don't know. Deflate's not even the right word, but like, what is that? Like wind down. Yes. And like get our mind off. Absolutely. I'm a big proponent of that. I have self-care Saturday every single Saturday where I take intentional time to just digress. Right? To just like, I'm thinking of words. I can't think of the word I'm trying to think of. But again, intentional time. And I want to get better because I learned from people like Joe Vitale, who's like every single night he gets in his hot tub and like writes out what his thoughts were about his day. And I'm like, that's so powerful, right? Because we don't know where we're going unless we know where we are right now. Okay. And so what we do is if we were like, oh, I'm just going to go and have these major goals, like, no, let's keep let's journal our progress. Because then guess what? If you journal it and you've done things for 7 days in a row and you're not making any progress, that may be a good time. Maybe it's too soon, but depending on the goal, maybe a good time to be like, let me make sure if this actually makes the most sense for reaching that goal, right? If you are working out like every single day and you're not like feeling anything, you're not like noticing anything, you're not like, maybe a little sore the next day, maybe we're not working out hard. Okay. I mean, especially if you're just starting a journey and you're not sore, maybe we need to like up it a little bit so we can like have some actual effect. These are just thoughts, right? That's what the power of journaling. That's the power of reflection. All of this shifts your mindset. That's why I created Book Club with Jen. So here's your 2 goals. First of all, if you are already in Book Club with Jen, I invite you to go back to the group and press share and invite, or just invite specific friends. They're going to get the Zoom link. They're going to get the information. So tonight they can join us. This is day 1. This is like groundbreaking, but we're just starting this. There's already a bunch of you in there. All right. Dozens and dozens. And I'm so excited for whoever's going to hop on the Zoom today. Let's bust out the Zoom. All right. But so that's the first thing. If you are not in it and you even want to consider being a part of, you're like, I don't have the book yet. No worries. We're going to talk about it. We're going to give you I'm going to give you great tips, great lessons that are like nuggets of gold from this book. So it doesn't matter whether you've read it or not. It's okay. That does not hold you back. So hop on today. If you're like, okay, let me just try it out and see if I even like it before I join. Perfect. There's no harm in that. Join it. And if you love the book, like I know you're going to love the book, then Amazon will have it to you so you can be ready for next week. All right. So every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, we're going to hop on Zoom. Jen Gray on Facebook. If we are not friends, make sure you friend me so I can invite you. Or if you only see me on Instagram, or if you want to email me, agent@imjengray.com. There is no excuse for you to be able to get in touch with me. So you guys reach out. I want to make sure you have an invite. And I believe in you. And I want you to believe in yourself. And if you're in a spot right now in life and you're like, all of this seems too much, I don't even know, Jen, if I can believe in myself enough to even click join. I want to just personally extend it to you and say, I want to be for you what I needed March 2023 when my life completely crumbled. And that's all this book club is. We're going to grow together. We're not coming in as experts. We're coming in as real people who struggle with real life. And I just know what it's like with a good mindset and what it's like with a really, really crappy one. And I just want to offer an opportunity for us to grow together. So I am so excited for tonight. I cannot wait to join you guys. And again, join up, send the link out, share the word. And I love you guys deeply. And that may seem crazy because I may not have met you yet, but guess what? There are people all across the world who hate people for absolutely no reason. And I will always choose to love you for absolutely no reason until we meet and I find the millions of reasons there are to love you. So if you are not subscribed or follow along on Be Jenny with Jen podcast, please do that. I invite you and I love you. I believe in you and I cannot wait to grow with you and book club with Jen. You guys are amazing. Have an amazing rest of your Wednesday and I'll see y'all tonight.